Here comes a new challenger!
Fighting games. The classic FGC, one of the biggest gaming communities in the world, with many memorable moments in gaming. Well, if you guys like fighting games, this is the anime for you. So, it's 1991, the year that shook the world. There's also fighting games too, and arcades. Everyone loves arcades during that time. And especially Street Fighter 2, World Warriors. Everyone was playing it. This is where you see the main character, Haruo Yaguchi. He also loves fighting games. As you can see in the first episode, he's in the arcade playing Street Fighter 2, World Warriors. As you can see, he plays Guile and goes against his classmate, Akira Ono, she plays Zangief. They're still in elementary school in the first episode, and Akira Ono, she's on a 30-win streak going against like grown men and teenagers, which is kind of interesting, and I'm wondering how. They never explain it, but she just good at fighting games. I wish I can be as good as her, but I don't play grapplers. They're not my thing. Except Potemkin. I play Potemkin. Yeah, I like busting on people. But Haru doesn't think Ono should belong in the arcade because she's a perfect girl with good grades and rich parents in a big house. So he's been trying to get her out of the arcade by wasting his money his mom gave him on the arcade just to beat her. Lo and behold, Haru gets destroyed by Ono. But then some random dude just pushed him over and tried to break her win streak. And then over there on the side, Haruo just contemplating life, getting salty. With only 50 yen left, Haruo decided to go against Ono one last time, and then he chose Guile again. And he decided to Guile turtling.
Guile turtling involves holding the joystick diagonally in preparation of using one of two special moves while waiting for your opponent's attack. Using low kicks, sonic boom, and somersault kicks, the opponent's advances can be repelled. It's Guile's forbidden strategy.
And won against Ono. Won, and the crowd was amazed, but also disgusted because he was Guile turtling. Just disgusting. But he got too cocky in the next round and only used one hand to fight Ono, and he lost. But in the last round, Haru started fighting fair, or so the audience thought. He started throw janking. And then Haruo wins, but at what cost? Ono gets mad and then smacks him in the face, and thus crossing their fates together. And this is High Score Girl. How I got introduced into High Score Girl is I was going through Netflix and I saw High Score Girl in the anime. I wasn't gonna watch it, but then when I saw the previews, it was also a fighting game, and I watched it. I loved it. It was one of my top number one favorite romance anime ever. I even bought the first volume of the manga. So Haru and Ono started hanging out more, being more friendly, somewhat rivals, but sadly she had to move out to the States. And Haru didn't really because everyone gave Ono presents before she left, but Haru didn't because she wanted to give her in private. So he gave her a ring, which isn't that much. Was the ring he got in like a gacha capsule crane game. And that's it. That's it for the first couple episodes of High Score Girl. And then Haru is somewhat 13, 14 now, and he's with his friends in the arcade in school uniforms. But apparently, it's strict rules that you can't go on arcades during school days or something, because there's a teacher monitoring the arcade. And then Haru and his posse just run out of the arcade, and then you see Koharu Hidaka, aka Best Girl. And then later on, she starts developing a crush on Haru, becoming more involved with him, hanging out with him more. But, of course, Haru is a boy main character in a romance anime. He is going to be dense, oblivious, and stupid from her crush, and advances, sadly. And Haru was sick. Hidaka came over to his house, and Haru let her play some games. But then Haru had some weird deja vu, reminding Koharu of Ono. Which is kind of, yeah, whatever. And then possibly starting to have feelings for Ono. Not a big fan of Ono, but she's okay. She's like, she's the poster girl. She's the main girl for High Score Girl, so yeah. Other than Hidaka, I guess Haru also has another friend. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. And then Doi. At first, you might not like him because he's like that snobby, stuck-up kid. But later on, he gets better. And he might have a gambling addiction. And then, what? Ono's back? Woohoo. I really wanted that. And then Haruo fights Ono in the arcade games again. But this time they're playing Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Either Turbo, I don't remember, sorry. Either Turbo or New Challengers. But history repeats itself and Ono wins again. And Haruo forgot that Street Fighter 2 Turbo or Street Fighter 2 Challengers got released early in the States. And she got a lot of grinding training done. But Hidaka sees Ono as a love interest rival for Haruo. And then starts a love triangle. While everyone is trying to find a high school to go to, Ono already got accepted into one of the best schools in their area. Haruo is trying to get on that grind set and study restlessly in his room, trying to get in the same school as Ono. While Haruo is wasting his time in his room, multiple things came out during that time, like the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation 1. And then Haruo finally goes outside to touch grass, and then go to the arcade, of course, with Hidaka. And then she wasn't the same button mashing girl as she was before. She's definitely improved. So she challenges Haruo to fight in Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. But unfortunately, Haruo is really rusty and Hidaka wins a lot. Fast forward a bit, and then Haruo and his classmates are in a field trip, and then Haruo breaks off from the group just to go to a Street Fighter 2 tournament, and Ono is there. So Ono and Haruo has been like winning a lot, and then they're in the finals. And then what? Haruo wins, but Haruo realizes he did not deserve the win, because before Ono used the machine, a kid got really mad and started smashing the buttons and basically messed it up. So she couldn't really do any moves. So Haruo decides to give her the trophy and merch. And then they have a bit argument, and then Haruo tells Ono that he missed her, and then started crying, and then they go back to the hotel. And then later on, Hidaka joins a fighting community team, and then she basically confesses to Haruo, but she knows Haruo likes Ono. But then she made a proposition. It's best out of 3 fighting games in the arcade later on. And then she says if she wins, she gets to date Haruo. But if Haruo wins, she'll back out and then just stay as friends, which, that's going to be really awkward And then Haruo just stood there like priceless. His face is priceless and he doesn't know how to react. He was like, either do I go out with Hidaka or Ono? And it's really hard to choose between this. But personally, if I were him, I would have chose Hidaka. But as soon as they started competing, Haruo started losing a bit. But then he came back. He won, sadly. And then Hidaka got pretty mad and then started, hitting him a bit. And then she started crying. And then her whole group started beating up on Haruo, which was pretty funny, but And then Haruo joins another group in like another town or place, and then because he's been ostracized by like Hidaka's group because they keep like leaving him out and stuff, and then he joined the group, and then finally they fight. Their groups fight, and then they kind of sort stuff out. Hidaka she hugged Haruo and starts crying. I've been dreaming of you trying to hug me in my dreams. And then she wants him to hug her back at least once. And then Haruo, the idiot, he sees Ono in front of them, and then he doesn't hug her back. He's like, oh, stun face or whatever, and that kind of pissed me off. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Haruo's mom. She's literally one of the best moms in anime. She's really pretty, fruity. She also is really supportive of her son, and she's kind of funny too. And also, same as Ono's sister, she's also really childish. This is her older sister, by the way. And yeah, these two pretty make funny scenes. I also forgot to mention this is a 3D anime. Even though some people might not like it, this is actually pretty good. It mixes well with the 2D sprites of the arcade games and the 3D. Sometimes it doesn't even look like it's 3D. It's just, it's good. I mean, don't hate on it. Come on, guys. And there was this one part that I found funny is that Ono's sister encourages Haruo to buy a dating simulator game. And then when he got home to play the game, Hidaka, his mom, and Ono's sister was just watching him every move and then judging him on his like choices. And then at the end of the game when he finishes, he never got with any of the girls. But the Ono family teacher, Ono's personal teacher when she's at home, got more strict and then prohibited her from going to any arcades and hanging out with Haruo. And Haruo decided to make an RPG with like an RPG-ish maker game he bought, and then he made an RPG based on Ono and her life. She enjoyed it, but she didn't really get to finish it because the teacher threw out her console, Ono's console, and then Haruo was pretty bummed out, and then the teacher started softening up a bit and then apologizes and then buys Haruo a new Nintendo console. Well, she didn't specify which one. She just asked the store dude to buy her a Nintendo, which is kind of funny because that's what most adult people usually ask. Are you on your Nintendo again? Well, yeah. And then Haruo's friends, that I forgot his name, I forgot. My bad. He was like, Haruo, you skipped from having a crush to love. And then something Haruo starts thinking, it's like, I do love Ono. And then to realize that Ono is going back to the States. And then Haruo rushes to the airport as soon as Ono leaves to go to the States. They both hug and cry as they're both separated, as Haruo promises to get a visa and a passport to go visit her someday in the States, and then soon probably get married. And that's the end of High Score Girl. Well, there's also the spin-off, High Score Girl Dash, which is, I don't really like it that much. It's based on Hidaka, the best girl, but I don't really like how they did her.